I'm having my first flight in the Mig29A Fulcrum today, a long anticipated full fidelity Red 4 jet. Just getting myself familiar with the button layout and the flight characteristics, and tomorrow I'll dive into weapons employment. Looking around this cockpit, ED have done an absolutely fantastic job. The immersion in here, the depth of perception in the dials, and the appearance of the surfaces. This doesn't look like a computer graphic. It looks to me in VR like I could reach out and touch the metal. I'm also checking out the settings of a new PC, so I've got my frame rate counter up, just so I can keep track of the rates I'm getting. And talking about rates, the rate of climb in this jet is, well, it's very impressive for me, who's used to A10s more often. I have flown the Flaming Cliffs 2024 Mig29, and that's pretty impressive, but this does seem to have a little bit more responsive thrust. Certainly its integration with force feedback does make it a lot more twitchy. I spend most of my time in red jets, dodging missiles, AIM-120s mostly, fired by F-16s. So the low-level capabilities of this jet for me are really important.
Altitude.
One of the things I like about it is that flat bottom lets you get real down low and dirty. There's no bombs or missiles hanging under the fuselage to get caught on any terrain.
Altitude.
I'm really enjoying the mirrors in this jet. It seems like a little thing to like, but the fact that you can adjust each mirror individually, inwards and outwards, to position it exactly where you want to see the frame, I think that's going to make them much more useful than I've really ever experienced the mirrors in the other jets. This jet's still a work in progress, so it is missing a few things, some of which include some training missions, so I'm having to guesstimate a little bit the landing approaches, mainly because I haven't read the manual yet. This is actually the second time I've flown this jet today. First time I did kangaroo it down the runway and end up collapsing my gear and sliding to a stop. Talking about that thrust, one of the things I've always envied from the guys in the F-16s is how short a takeoff they can make in an emergency. And here, in a couple of dozen meters of taxiway on full burner, I'm airborne. It really does show off the lighting effects that have been added to this jet, with the afterburners causing the tarmac to glow. And with my visor down, I get some fantastic realism through the reflections that appear on the inside of the visor as the lighting changes. Trust me, in VR, the immersion is absolute. Good thing the visor is able to be mapped to a quick switch, because it is something I think is going to need to be pushed up and down quite a lot during dogfights. Coming in for a second landing with a very short approach. I've got no parachute now, since I used that on the first landing. So I do need to be careful not to run off the end. But yeah, a quick little blast around the skies above Krasnodar in the MiG-29. And time for me to get back to the studies to learn how to use this effectively. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.